In the vast expanse of the cosmic sea, where countless universes are born and perish in the blink of an eye, one seemingly insignificant blue planet quietly carried a secret that would shake the foundations of existence itself. Earth, the birthplace of humanity, was not merely a cradle of civilization, but the starting point of a grand design that spanned billions of years. Unbeknownst to all beings, even the most ancient true gods, this tiny world was the chess piece of a being whose schemes transcended eras. Zuo Shanke, the Hermit and the true divine King of Jin. Luo Feng's fate, from the moment he was born on Earth, had already been set into motion by an invisible hand. Every fortuitous encounter, every treasure, every teacher that appeared in his path, all of it was part of a plan woven by the God King himself. The Nine Tribulations Secret Codex, the Tribulation Armor, and even the mighty Star Tower were not random strokes of luck, but the deliberate gifts of a supreme strategist, each piece pushing Luo Feng toward an inevitable destiny. To the outside world, Zuo Shanke appeared as an eccentric and reclusive powerhouse, mysterious, solitary, and detached from the affairs of the universe. He occasionally appeared at critical junctures, his motives impossible to discern. But behind this mask of indifference was a divine king who had once ruled over a supreme realm in the origin continent, a being who had stood shoulder to shoulder with creation itself. His name once inspired awe across the heavens, the God King of Jin, master of countless worlds, the peak of might and wisdom. However, even gods are not immune to betrayal. The three rulers of the Sure Kingdom, Lord Tian Kun, Ancestor Wuxiang, and Ancestor Daomo, conspired against him, shattering his kingdom and leaving him grievously wounded. In that great fall, the once omnipotent God King was forced to abandon everything and reincarnate into the vast sea of universes, carrying nothing but his hatred and his will to one day return and take vengeance. Thus was born Zuo Shanke, the Mountain Hermit. Although his current form could only reach the level of a true god due to the restrictions of the supreme law, his knowledge and vision remained far beyond any being in the cosmic sea. He could no longer wage war directly against his enemies, so he turned to the art of manipulation. Instead of drawing his sword, he drew the universe itself as his chessboard. Every planet, every lineage, every living being became his potential chess piece. The Earth was his masterpiece, a silent incubator for willpower, crafted to perfection. Through his divine methods, he infused the Earth's origin with a unique resonance, endowing all life born upon it with extraordinary will, unmatched tenacity, and limitless potential. It was no coincidence that Luo Feng, Hong, and Lei Shen emerged from this planet. Each of them was a fragment of Zuo Shanke's ultimate design, a reflection of his experiment to forge a perfect heir. But the God King's foresight extended far beyond a single lineage. He also created the Flame God clan, a race of incredible physical might, the embodiment of brute force and endurance. Together, the Earth lineage and the Flame God lineage represented two extremes of cultivation, soul and flesh, spirit and body. It was as if Zuo Shanke were testing the heavens themselves, exploring which path could ultimately ascend to the peak of existence. At the center of this intricate web stood the Star Tower, a divine treasure so powerful that even universe lords trembled before it. Standing 9 light-years tall, enveloped in a nebula of 9 spiraling vortices, its very presence could annihilate all living beings within its range. To the countless races of the universe, it was a supreme treasure. But to Zuo Shanke, it was something far more, a crucible for destiny. The Hermit did not simply hand the Star Tower to Luo Feng. Instead, he placed him through a test so cruel and inhumane that even the bravest beings would tremble at the thought. For 6,000 years, Luo Feng's soul was torn apart, reassembled and torn apart again. An endless cycle of agony that would have driven any lesser being into madness. It was a trial that went beyond physical endurance. It was the destruction and rebirth of will itself. The Star Tower would only acknowledge one who could endure all 3 barriers. First, the bearer had to possess the unique spiritual signature of the Earth lineage. Without that resonance, the Star Tower would reject them instantly. Second, the The cultivator had to have mastered the Nine Tribulations Secret Codex, a technique that allowed one's soul to vibrate at a frequency in harmony with the Star Tower's origin. And third, they had to survive the 6,000-year ordeal, the final purification of will. Two Earthborn geniuses before Luo Feng had tried and failed, their souls shattered after enduring millennia of torment. Only Luo Feng, through indomitable resolve and a heart unyielding before despair, succeeded. In that moment, he transcended the limits of mortals and claimed a divine king-level treasure as his own. But behind this triumph was a grim truth. Everything had been arranged. Zuo Shanke had watched from afar, guiding the process without interference, his expression unreadable. To him, Luo Feng's agony was necessary, the final step in forging the perfect successor. At first, the relationship between master and disciple was cold and calculated. Zuo Shanke saw Luo Feng not as a person, but as a vessel, the instrument through which he could one day exact his revenge. Yet as time passed, even the heart of a god began to change. Watching Luo Feng struggle, grow, and rise again from endless hardship stirred something within the divine king that he thought had long perished: genuine affection. By the time Luo Feng succeeded, Zuo Shanke could no longer hide his pride. For the first time in countless eras, the ancient hermit smiled. From that moment on, the bond between them shifted. Luo Feng ceased to be merely a tool. He became a true disciple, almost like a son. Luo Feng, too, came to understand his master's pain. He no longer saw Zuo Shanke as a manipulative schemer, but as a being burdened with grief, vengeance, and loneliness beyond comprehension. When he finally learned of the betrayal that destroyed his master's kingdom, he made a vow in his heart. One day he would help his master reclaim his honor. As Luo Feng's strength grew, surpassing even the limits Zuo Shanke had envisioned, destiny came full circle. The once powerless pawn had become a king in his own right. Luo Feng ascended to the eternal true God realm and eventually to the rank of a lord, stepping into a domain that even his master had never reached. When the day of reckoning arrived, Luo Feng did not hesitate. Armed with the might of the Star Tower, the Nine Tribulations Codex, and the will of an indomitable soul, he faced the three rulers of the Shi Kingdom: Lord Tiankun, Ancestor Wuxiang, and Ancestor Daomo, the same beings who had once shattered the God King of Jin's life. The battle shook the heavens and tore through the fabric of universes. When it ended, the three ancient rulers lay dead, their reign extinguished by the disciple of the very man they had betrayed. In that moment, vengeance was complete. Zuo Shanke's long, torturous wait had ended, not through his own hands, but through the successor he had forged with patience, cruelty, and unspoken love. And yet, what truly defined this ending was not revenge, but transcendence. For Zuo Shanke, the one who had orchestrated billions of years of schemes, realized something profound: that fate, no matter how tightly controlled, could still surprise even the gods. He had created Luo Feng as a pawn, but the pawn had become a being greater than the hand that moved it. The God King of Jin had found not just an avenger, but a legacy, a living testament to the fact that even manipulation, born from vengeance, could lead to genuine creation. In the end, Luo Feng's journey became more than a saga of revenge or cultivation. It was a mirror reflecting the evolution of both student and master, from control to compassion, from vengeance to transcendence. The Hermit, who once saw the universe as a chessboard, finally bowed to the unpredictable beauty of fate. From the Earth to the origin continent, from mortal to divine, Luo Feng's destiny was written by the hand of a god, but the story's conclusion was written by his own will. Even the greatest manipulator of destiny could not foresee that his ultimate creation would not only fulfill his vengeance, but also surpass the very concept of control itself. And perhaps that is the true irony of existence, that even the plans of gods can be undone by the boundless potential of a human heart. Fellow Taoists, what do you think? Was Zuo Shanke's path of manipulation and cruelty justified by the results it achieved? Or do you believe that the truest strength is born not from control, but from freedom? Share your thoughts below and let us witness together the eternal question of destiny. Can even the gods escape their own designs?